Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I wasn't going to film this because I've already done this once, but this is a totally different stuff this time round, and the camera and everything was all set up. I'm in the middle of a repotting session, so what I've got in the bucket is my filter jug water. So it will have quite a high TDS reading, which we will check now. Probably be somewhere between 170 and 200, but that's not the point. It is 197, so just under 200. We don't need, there's no preciseness required here. What I'm interested in is when I put that in there, what is that value in 24 hours time when it's had a flipping good soak? Because I'll just do this once a day until I'm finished. Now this is a totally different product to what I had before. The other stuff said highly suitable for orchids, pre-washed, ready to use, and was it hell? Took quite a lot of rinsing to get those TDS readings down to something manageable, shall we say. This stuff doesn't mention plants. This is for putting in the bottom of things like reptiles and spiders' cages. Yeah, it's deliberately aimed at looking after reptiles. It doesn't mention plants, so nonetheless it's coconut husk. It's basically the same product, but I don't know how much care they would have taken to clean it first. This is the bit it's unknown. Whereas before it said washed and ready to use and it wasn't. The fact that this is has got reptiles and creatures involved, it may have actually been prepared quite well, because some of those creatures actually require a damp atmosphere. So this would be in the bottom of their cages, damp, wet. Well, once you start applying moisture, whatever is in it, like the salts, would be available to be licked. So this might have been cleaned. But it's a totally different product, and the other product was around £10 plus postage, I think, from memory. This was less than £5 a bag and the postage was free. So I've got more than twice as much, because these bags are bigger, more than twice as much for a lot less money. So this is not sinking. Whoops. And I've got to push it down before I can get some more in. Well, when it's dry it effectively floats. It's just like bark, it floats. In fact, it floats even worse. You might not even be able to do the whole bag in one go here, but I'm going to try because I want to do a good load in one hit. That's the idea. If you do it in much smaller loads, it's easier to soak because you've got a larger volume of water to work with relative to the media you're soaking. But I just want to get a good lot done so that I've got it in hand. So I'm going to go for the whole bag if I can get it in. Just said I'm having to keep poking it down. It's going to go in. I've made my mind up. Right, there we go. There is some dust in there, but that will subsequent rinses will get that out. No worries. So what I'm interested in is what colour this water is, because it was clean when we started, and what the TDS has risen to. Now I'm going to have to come back and give this a push down and a bit of a stir around every now and again, because I'm in a right mess now. I've got it stuck to me, and the sink's full of plants. Now I've got someone at the kitchen door. I'll edit that bit out, in which case you won't see it, will you? Right, so we've got dunking and soaking going on. We've got a variety of pieces in size, but basically the majority of the pieces are this sort of size, and they've been cut rather than torn apart. Apparently, according to Michael McCarthy, if they've been cut clean, they work better. They don't break down so quick. So, right, there we go. One bucket full. And can't even turn the camera off because my hands are in a right messy. Right. I don't think that young lad appreciated what I said when he opened the door. He said because he had the full face mask and glass visor type thing, or plastic visor type thing. He said, don't worry, I haven't come to beat you up. Just looked at him and went, that'll be the day. Anyway, he wanted to do something to the house, and I'm not the property owner, and that gets rid of those sort of people incredibly quickly, because if you're not the property owner, you can't authorise any works on the house, so they just go away, which is wonderful. Right, so that's that. I will come back with a video clip at the end of the session. I'm not going to show rinsing and all that like I did last time. There's no flipping point. But what I will do is do an update on this when I've finished with it, where I can say how many rinses it's taken and what the pH values of each following each rinse were, and what the colour of the water was, and all that sort of stuff. So I'll do an update on it. Bearing in mind, this was less than half the price of the other stuff, but this is not aimed at plants. So it'll be interesting to know what comes out of it. Just how clean is it? We shall see. Anyway, that's the start. More will be added to this clip as I go along. No, actually, I'll do this as a separate bit. I'll come back and do a separate video for the update at the end, which will probably be in 3 or 4 days' time, depending on how long it takes to get that in a reasonable state. Right, see you next time. Okay, this has had about 16 hours soaking now. What I'm really after by adding this bit on now is this is its first soak, and it should give us an impression of how much hard work it's going to be, if necessary, to clean this up. So what I thought I'd do is we'll grab some of the water. So it's quite heavily stained, yeah, so there's a lot of staining coming out. I'll make a mess on the table now for a start. And let's have a look and see what the pH has gone up to. This should give us an indication of just how much salt there is in this. I mean, this could go up over 500, couldn't it? I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Let me press the hold button, because I can't read that. Right, there's some very small writing there, because the big figures that I'm reading say 154, which it can't be. The original water was nearly 200, TDS of 200, so I reckon that's gone over 1,000. So I would suggest a massive amount of salt has come out of that. So that TDS meter's never done that before, because it's never had to read anything like that before. Right, so we'll get a rinse on the go, get the first lot of water out, which will just be a matter of tipping it in the sink with the plug in, and then just moving the plug slightly to one side and let the water drain. I'm not going to spend loads of time on it, and then just put it in some clean water. And I'll repeat, you know, every day for a while until the reading comes down. Last video I did, I forgot the joke on the end. Can't have that. I mean, we're either going to do it as a regular thing, or we're going to not. And I did say I'd do it when I remembered, and it won't be every time. Anyway, this one is it's another wife joke. See, I haven't got one of them, so I'm certainly not offending mine, am I? Right, so policeman's driving along, sees a car acting a little suspicious. I mean, it just happens, you know, you've only got to turn the wrong way, haven't you? And anyway, so he thought, we'll pull this chap over and have a little chat, see where he's off to and all that sort of stuff. So pulls in a bit closer behind and puts the blue light on, and the guy just suddenly speeds up. So obviously the police car gives chase, and after a little while, no big deal, the car does actually pull over, and the policeman gets out and sort of taps on the driver's window, which is promptly wound down, and says to the guy, "When I put the blue lights on, why did you speed up?" And he said, "Well, a while ago my wife ran off with a policeman, And I was worried you were bringing her back. See you next time.